So I've been watching the Lacey Peterson documentary today, and I'm almost done. And it probed a few thoughts that I wanted to share. And in no way, shape, or form is this meant to victim blame, but this is to point out things for women. So when you are creating your reality, it's very important that you be in tune to some degree with the people in your lives' reality as well, so that you don't create this false sense of security, so that you recognize when you are creating a reality that's based on your own fabrications and that's based on your fantasies. And as women, this is actually very easy to do. I've done it, in a more small way than obviously this story that I was watching. But the mind is very, very powerful in creating and shaping our reality. And when you are not in tune with your higher self, when you are not in tune with you in general, with your desires, with your needs, with who you are, with how you operate, it is very easy to create a false reality. In the Lacey Peterson show, at the beginning of this show, they were talking about, how they met and when they got married. I guess they got married pretty quickly, but how she wanted children. She was in love with her husband, and her husband said that he didn't want children. But then not too long later, maybe a month or a few months later, she was pregnant, and she told her friends, and one of her friends were like, didn't he say he didn't want children? It is very important when we are creating our reality to be in tune. Be in tune, for one, with yourself, so that you are in tune with other people's reality. So you're spiritually in tune, your intuition kicks into overdrive, and you start to pay attention. Because what happens with a lot of women is we create realities that's false. And I said the mind is very powerful because the mind is what creates your reality. The things that you believe in, the things that you focus on. A lot of times when we are in relationships, especially when we're young, we don't know a lot. We don't know a lot about ourselves. We damn sure don't know a lot about men. So we get caught up in fantasies that we have created in our own minds, similar to potential. You know how they say don't date for potential? That. Because a lot of the times we see the big wedding, we see the children, we see the picket fence. And while we are creating these fantasies in our heads, we start to believe that it can actually come true. And when you're not in tune, it could go left very quickly and very badly, like it did for her. When her husband told her he didn't want children, she didn't listen. She was very much caught up, and this is not meant to be disrespectful. This is meant to be a lesson. She was very much caught up in what she wanted, her reality, the reality that she had fabricated, the life that she saw with him that she made up. So much so that she wasn't paying attention to him. And unfortunately, you don't want to be, and thankfully, most of us don't come in contact with men who are that insane to where he thinks the way out of his marriage is to off his pregnant spouse. He did not have to off her. He could have just left. So be grateful today if your baby daddy, if your husband, if your partner, if your significant other just got up and left, even if it left you a single mother. Because some people are out here offing their partners because they don't see a way out. In her reality, she did not pay attention to him saying he didn't want children. She was so hyper-focused. And how many of us do this? She was so hyper-focused on her desire for children that she wasn't listening to him, that she wasn't paying attention. She wasn't listening to her body. And again, it is not to victim blame, but unfortunately and fortunately, some of these things are avoidable. Listen to people when they tell you things. The universe requires balance, right? This is why a lot of the time when people have ill intentions for you, when people have intentions of manipulating you, oftentimes they'll tell on themselves. They'll say that they're not doing the very thing that they're attempting to do. Now, they might not be cognizant of this, or they might be cognizant because they're trying to be manipulative and they're trying to not come off as manipulative. But when you are in tune with yourself, you will pick up on the manipulation That red flag, that light bulb will pop on when they say something. And it is very important that you don't ignore it. I have done this. We all have done this. Gotten so caught up in how a relationship can go that we stop paying attention to how it's going. We stop paying attention to our partner's ability to show up. A lot of us stick around in relationships waiting for our partner to show up because you have faith in them, not even considering that they don't want to or they don't have the capacity to. So remember this when you start to shape your reality, because your mind is powerful. And whether you are aware, whether you are at a level of consciousness where you are shaping and molding your reality, it's being shaped and molded regardless. You might not understand or know you're behind the wheel, but you are behind the wheel. So it's best to know that you're behind the wheel. Keep your head on a swivel, baby.